Hello, I have a simple question to ask you. It's about basketball. Of all of the NBA champions led by a dominant player, who is the most disrespected? Who is the most underrepresented? Who is the most least talked about NBA great? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. I'm gonna tell you who. Like you, dear listener, since you come in here about basketball, I'm sure you listen to either Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, ESPN, some sport channel like me. Now, whenever they talk about great NBA players who dominated that team, you know they always talk about, usually, number one, Michael Jordan. They talk about Larry Bird. They talk about Magic Johnson. Then they talk about LeBron James. Then they talk about Shaquille O'Neal. Maybe even Hakeem Olajuwon, Isaiah Thomas, etc. And Dr. J may come last. But there's one NBA champion who gets the least love and recognition. This person is the great Bill Russell. Yes, he was great. Now remember this, good people, because I'm gonna show you. You see some images back in those days when he played. They didn't lift up weights. I heard that the only NBA players start lifting weights in the 1990s. Because you remember when Michael Jordan first came into the league, he just was a skinny person, didn't lift weights. He started lifting weights after the Pistons keep beating him up. So most players probably think, hey, look, MJ lifting weights. Well, we all want to lift weights. Because you know Michael Jordan is sort of a trendsetter. He's sort of a trendsetter. But like I was saying, Bill Russell, you don't hear anything talk about him. You hear a lot about super teams. You hear about that all over the place. When LeBron James left to go to Miami, he made a super team. Then when he came back to Cleveland, he made a super team. Now, when in LA, it's not much of a super team because it's just him and Anthony Davis. To be considered a super team, you have to have at least 3 Hall of Fame level players. So when he came back to Cleveland, it was him, Kyrie Irving, who were going to the Hall of Fame, and maybe even Kevin Love, who were going to the Hall of Fame. Because even though Kevin Love seems down now, he was the leading guy in Minnesota. Like when LeBron went to Miami, Chris Bosh was the third wheel. So if you notice that about LeBron James, he may have 3 Hall of Fame players, but with him, with the LeBron James system, the third player gets cast aside. But LeBron James system of basketball, he need 2 Hall of Fame level players. Like in LA, 3 is good. 3 basically guarantee him a championship. So when he get 3, it guarantees a championship. But have you ever wondered? I did my research on Bill Russell. Bill Russell, he played with 7. I'm gonna make sure my count is right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he played with 7 Hall of Famers. Now I don't know when he played with them. I don't know if he played with them all at the same time or different year or different times. Because remember, he won 11 championships. Some people came and go, but regardless, he played with 7 Hall of Famers, and they are listed in my slide as you all see. He played with 1, Bob Cousy. He don't get no love anymore, and I'm going to say that too. He was I don't know if I forgot what position he played, but I used to hear a lot about him in the 90s. Because that's when I came to the basketball team in the 90s. I heard about Bob Cousy then, but I don't hear about him no more. So, it's not just Bill Russell who don't get love. It's all them founding players. Except for maybe, what's that guy who scored 100 points? Wilt Chamberlain. He still get mentioned. But he only won 2 championships. But hey, I'd rather win 2 than none. So hey, but you remember they expected him to win more, but I guess he didn't because he was running like the LeBron James system of basketball. Everything has to go through him. So the Boston Celtics, when they played him, they just say, "Hey, look, let Bill get his little 50 points, and we hold everybody else down." And that's what Boston did to him. But like I said, Wilt Chamberlain, he's basically the only one in a pre-modern era. And if you don't know, the modern era of the NBA occurred when, I believe it was in 1978, when Larry Bird and Magic Johnson came on the scene. Basically, those two saved the NBA. If you don't know about the NBA, before Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, the NBA was a dying sport. I grew up in the 70s. And the NBA games, they wasn't shown live. They was on a delays. They was on a television delay. They came on like 10 o'clock at night or something like that. So the NBA was a dying sport until Larry Bird and Magic Johnson entered the modern era. That could be a reason why many other sportscasters don't like to talk about prior to Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. They consider that the ancient time in the NBA, where they was taking cocaine and drugs and all that, like in the 70s. I think a lot of NBA, that's why the NBA was down, because a lot of players were taking drugs. So they don't talk about Bill Russell. They don't talk about Walt Frazier. They don't talk about the Iceman. None of them. But I'm just saying, they disrespect Bill Russell more because he does have 11 championships. Now, I know back in those days when Bill Russell played, it was only 8 teams. Only 8. It was sort of like a download. It was sort of like the WNBA with 8 teams or something like that. But still. And there wasn't a whole lot of player movement. Players did move, but they wasn't like they are now, like the superstars. Only the superstars can say, "I want to move." Regular players can't say that. They don't call the shots. Only the superstars can say, "I want to go so and so." But like I was saying, prior to Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, we don't never hear of them greats like these, like baseball talk about the greats. I believe they still talk about the greats all the time. All the time. I still hear about Reggie Jackson, and he played in the 70s and 80s. You hear about even the football players. You hear about the ancient football players, but the NBA, they don't want to go back. They just want to stop at Larry and Magic. That's it. But I said, Bill Russell got 11 championships. So even if it was 8 teams or not, even if it was 8 teams, he still got 11. And then Bill Russell was sort of like LeBron James, but he was a little bit more better. Because LeBron James, when he was in Cleveland the first time, how many years he played? 7 years? He couldn't even win a championship. So I don't like to hear about him being the GOAT and all that. He could not initially run a championship in the city for 7 years. Like Chicago, at least Jordan, in 7 years, he did get his first championship. And he got deep into the finals. Yes, I know. I think year 4, LeBron, he did go to the championship and face the Spurs where he got swept. So he couldn't even win one game. But I'm getting back. Bill Russell, 11 championships. Before Bill Russell came to the Celtics was losing. They didn't win nothing. Then when he came on, pop, they started winning. When he left, several years later, they stopped winning. So, why don't people talk about him more? Now, if he was playing today, he probably would have been like 5 or 7 championships. But I think even back in his day, I'm not sure. You all can quote me on this. Were they playing 82 games or not? Then plus, since they wasn't lifting weights, their body was a lot more lighter than it is now. So if he was playing 82 games He went into the play, and I think he only lost one time. He's 11-1. He's not perfect like Jordan, but he lost one time, 11-1. But he went to the playoffs year after year after year. Now, I do know this about the playoffs. They wasn't in the format that it is now. Like 7-7-7-7-7. So, if he was playing today, I don't know how his body will hold up. The playoffs was a lot less than. I didn't even do my research. I had to see if it was a best of 7 series. I don't think it was no best of, even a championship round. I don't know if it was the best of 7. But like I said, because he's disrespected. See, the sportscasters, they could go back and tell us more about how basketball, how the playoffs was in Bill Russell time. But he's so disrespected, so underlooked, so underappreciated. They don't even shed no light on the past history of the NBA. So if he was alive today, I mean, well, he's still alive. I'm sorry, Mr. Russell, for saying that. But if he was playing today, with today's format of playoffs, where it's a grind, them 7 games, that's it, is a grind on the body. I don't know, he probably wouldn't win no 11. But he still would have been an outstanding player. He still. Because while he was not no scoring machine, he was extremely athletic, like some players today. He was versatile. He could rebound. And he blocked shots. He was more like a defensive specialist, which is sort of underplayed today. But that's what I wanted to say about Bill Russell. How he, and I better say, his era, not just him, his era does not get any recognition from the sportscaster of today. All they stop with, Bird and Magic, and it has moved forward. The previous NBA, in their minds, never existed. So, I thank you all for stopping by. Give me your comments on what you think of Bill Russell's. And I don't even know. Since I'm over 30. So I know about how things used to be like in the 90s. When they did talk about old-time greats a little bit they talk about them in the 90s. But now, I don't even know if the teenagers who live today, I don't even know if they know who Bill Russell was. I don't even know if they know who, you probably know who Will Chamberlain was. I don't even know if they probably know who Dr. J was. You probably know a little bit. Thank you for stopping by. Leave any comments that you may have in the comment sections. How you see the earlier era of the NBA does not get no recognition whatsoever. And there were many great players there. And it was great because there was no 3-point shots then. See, today is easier because a lot of players don't get hit and bullied. They shoot them 3-pointers a lot. Thank you. Give me a comment. Until the next time, good people. Peace.